like Craig like more than one.
Why not?
You guys excited? Here we go.
Oh, yeah, there we are. We are ready to rock this. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. OMG. We are so blessed to have you with us on this. And I hate to say it's the final day. How about we say it's the ultimate day
There we go.
of the Mastering of the Science of Getting Rich with Robert Hollis. And oh my gosh, we've gone through all 16 chapters. We've learned, and we've done this together. That's the beauty of this whole thing, is that every one of us has done this together. And if you've missed any, you can always go back and watch the replays. If you want to, you can look here in the chat, or actually down below in the description on YouTube, and all the chapters are there. Or you can go to Robert's YouTube channel, roberthollis.com/YouTube, and find all of this on a playlist ready to go so that you can master the science of getting rich with Robert Hollis and all of us as we mastermind each chapter. And today is the day that we go through chapter 17. Chapter 17 is probably one of the most unique chapters in all of this because it is the summary and conclusion. We've taken everything from point A to point B now, chapter 1 to chapter 16, and now, and I want to say more afterwards, of course, and now we get the opportunity to get a brief review of everything that Waddles has talked about. So, without further ado, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like us, please share us, and please subscribe to our channel because we've got lots of great plans coming up and you need to be a part of it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the gentleman who is the master of mastering the science of getting rich. And so grateful that he is our guide, he is our mentor, and he is our friend. Please welcome Robert Hollis!
Thank you, Craig, and thank each and every one of you that not only are participating today, but have throughout this whole entire series. I know it will bless you. I know it will bless you. I know it will bless you. So let's get right into this and listen to the chapter and then open it up for any comments or questions or anything like that. So let me go to share screen.
What? What's up, my friend Calic and I here, and welcome to, I guess what you might...
Chapter 17, Summary of the Science of Getting Rich. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. Man can form things in his thought and, by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. Otherwise, he cannot be in harmony with the formless intelligence, which is always creative and never competitive in spirit. Man may come into full harmony with the formless substance by entertaining a lively and sincere gratitude for the blessings it bestows upon him. Gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance, so that man's thoughts are received by the formless. Man can remain upon the creative plane only by uniting himself with the formless intelligence through a deep and continuous feeling of gratitude. Man must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become. And he must hold this mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision and in earnest thanksgiving that the reality is being given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid on the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which the impression is given to the formless and the creative forces set in motion. The creative energy works through the established channels of natural growth and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in his mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows the instructions given above and whose faith does not waver. What he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. In order to receive his own, when it shall come to him, man must be active. And this activity can only consist in more than filling his present place. He must keep in mind the purpose to get rich through the realization of his mental image. He must do every day all that can be done that day, taking care to do each act in a successful manner. He must give to every man a use value in excess of the cash value he receives, so that each transaction makes for more life. And he must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes in contact. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision, the fixity of their purpose, the steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude.
Do you think a simple glass of water?
Okay. So yeah, so now that we got that one, doesn't it really sum it up? It really sums it up. And Lisa Marie's like, I don't know if that means sum it up or but one of the things I want to give you guys an example of, my mentor gave me this example, and it just shows today I did a video on imagination. And what I love is worry is the waste of imagination. You know what I mean? So let me give you a little thought here on how this really works for us. When you notice, I've been talking recently about children, you know what I mean? Because children, you know, we all have that mindset. And what we do is we get talked out of it, or for lack of better words, we get beat out of it, right? But if you guys can remember, you know, or watching, or if you've ever seen a child, it's like, hey, you know, do you want to go to the park? And it's funny, we have to, for those of you that have animals, there are certain words, just like kids, that you have to spell out. How many people know what I'm talking about? It's like, so I reach out to Katie and I say, hey, would you be interested in going to the PARK? You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, or the lake, you know, LAKE. And it's like, it's amazing to me that if you think of a vacation, when I first heard this, people will do more planning, more imagination on a 2-week vacation than they do for their entire life. So think about it. Even with kids nowadays, it's like, oh my God, spring break's coming up. Oh my God, you know, school's going to be over, graduation's going to be over, and then summer's coming. And I can remember being pretty old. What I mean by old is like, you know, I couldn't wait for the weekend, you know. And they always think, thank God it's Friday, right? Well, why are people's emotions or enthusiasm a little better on Friday than it is on Monday? We're pretty crazy on how well we can set our mindset, right? So when all of a sudden you think about going on a vacation, what we were talking with Craig and I before we got on here, we're talking about, you know, the internet. and it's so wild that, there was a whole group of people that still will say that 33, 33, 33, there's still a bunch of people that are still saying that the internet's the worst thing that ever happened. But it's in the, the beauty's in the hand of the beholder, right? So when you're talking about a vacation, I want you to try imagine the last vacation that you went on, or one where you were young. And you just get in this mindset that, oh my God, we're going to Disneyland, or we're going to Disney World, right? Or we're going to the lake or the theme park or whatever. And it's amazing the excitement that we can create, and the change in our mood and the change in our feeling, because we know we're going to go do something. And that's this chapter. It's like you got to have faith that we're going. Are you just kidding me, or are we really going? Yeah, we're going. All right, cool. Oh my God, when I go there, I'm going to do this. And oh my God, I'm going to do this. And oh my God, I'm going to do this. And what I love about children, it's just like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? How far? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's like their constant thing is extremely focused on their imagination of things that are going to happen in the future. And every time that you mentally get stuck, you just got to look at everything. We're on Zoom. That was a thought. That was imagination. And we make jokes about, yeah, that was on the Jetsons. You know what I mean? And so, an idea formed in that substance, imagination being out there, so you can look at everything that's ever happened, including, me, when I wanted to become, working for the best auto mechanic or the best, person that had race cars, Roger Penske. Everything that's happened in my life was me imagining. And then it came to pass. So I can remember one time just saying, listen, I just want to get to $6,000 a month. That's all I wanted to do, because my urgent need was I needed money flow. I needed cash flow to take care of things in my life. It wasn't until later where I thought, wow, it might be pretty cool to be on stage. And then all of a sudden they said, well, listen, once you hit a rank, you got to do a presentation on stage. And I started imagining what I would say on stage, what I would feel when I got that trophy or that award. Pretty amazing, huh? And then it's like, well, maybe if I just was in the top, 20 of people in this industry. So it's a little imagination that you have to say, I'm going to imagine looking into my online banking. And as soon as you click on your online banking, you got a vision of what would be in there. You following me? So some people have a difficulty envisioning things, but that's why we say, well, listen, that's why we got the internet. If you don't know the excursions that you're going to go on, then get those planned in your mind. And here's just a little thing that I've done for people is I said, first of all, everyone wants to know how something's going to be done. And that's where we get stuck. Because if you read through this chapters over and over and over, you keep going through, this mastery of the science of getting rich, you will consistently hear it say that again, not leaning on your own understanding. It's almost like the more you try to figure it out, the worse you are. Did you guys catch that? Because we're spending so much time trying to figure out how to make it happen that you're no longer in imagination. So if I use the vacation, wouldn't it sound weird if all of a sudden it's like, we're going to go on vacation? I'm going like, well, what roads, first of all, how are we going to get to the airport? how we're going to get there, and what roads are we going to take? And are you sure the vehicle's going to get there? When's the last time the car's been serviced? Are the tires okay? It's like, you can really quickly ruin the whole experience by overthinking and being frustrated and confused and saying you don't understand. Whenever someone says those things to me, and I say that is a state of mind, it's not the state of mind. It's like, put your eye back on the ball. Put your eye back on your vision. Start imagining. Because that's how it'll change. Your state of mind will start, state of being, your state of who you are, your state of mind will all change when you change what you're looking at. And so people are like, well, how am I going to do this? If you spent more time, focus, and imagination on your vision, and vision inspires success in others now, and you learn to consistently spend more time on that. Now, in this chapter, how much time are we supposed to be spending on that? All day? It just said only during your spare time. Only during your spare time should you be imagining and going through the emotions of how you're going to feel when that gets done. So that's all I have to say about this chapter. It's when you start applying these things, and I will say one extra thing. I know in the transformation of you transforming to the advancing person, that we still spend a lot of our time doing the things that got us here. You know what I mean? It's like the awareness just comes where you make a mental thought, well, I'm going to spend some time here. And then slow but sure, it will become, you won't like feeling icky. You won't like feeling mad. You won't like feeling sad. You know what I mean? You're going to go, wow, if I could feel joy versus sadness, if I could feel, excitement and enthusiasm versus anger. And you really can get good at saying, I'm going to spend a little more time. I'm going to spend a little more time being in this optimistic visionary, imagination person than I spend on focusing on things that are negative. Because the law of attraction, the things that we're talking about here is if you read again, anything that deals with personal development, anything that deals with any kind of spiritual or religious belief, it always says, so how many of you that have a good faith and a good belief, and so when the scripture says, pass all your cares and worries on to me, and you're like, no, I'm just going to hang on to them and be pissed off all day. You know what I mean? It's like, what? It's like, I hope no one gets upset at me for saying this, but you run into a bunch of people in different beliefs that still feel like they're in a spiritual warfare. Like, I'm being attacked by the adversary. Yeah, you didn't read the end of the book. We won. It's like the battle's already been won. Why are you saying, oh my God, I'm struggling against all this? Again, it's a state of mind. It's a total state of mind. So I'm not in spiritual warfare. Are you kidding me? I'm like victorious every single day, all day long. I found materials that I decided to believe in and apply that changed my whole life. And now I'm taking all my time that I can and making sure that I impact other people's lives with the good news. With the thought of, hey, you know what? There is a better way. There is a funner way. And so, so that's the key, is just really understanding that even though we went through this mastery of the science of getting rich, I'm telling you right now, and a lot of you probably won't believe this, I'm going back through this series just to hear what I had to say as well. You know what I mean? Because you just can't, there's no way that you can, why wouldn't you want to experience the height of every emotion when it comes to the positive side? Does anybody think that you could have more love in your life? More connection? You know what I mean? More joy, more giving. It's like, but it's very obvious the things out there that can keep us in this state of not only flow, but rich in joy. And people are like, no, I'm just going to hang out in the house today. It's like, wow, really? That's a choice, isn't it? So what we could do is put on some TV and watch a bunch of people flip over tables and get into drama. How many of you guys have realized that reality TV is really all about drama? And I'm just a human being. So sometimes my wife is watching it and I'm watching it. And I go, that is so stupid. Why are they doing? They're creating drama here. They're creating drama here. They're trying to get me engaged, right? It's because I like watching shows where they're building race cars and they're building, classic cars, and they're building all these cars, and there's always drama. There's always drama. Oh my God, I can't believe that this messed up. How are we going to get the motor in? I'm going like, you changed some stuff and you put the motor in. It's like, oh my God, we found a lot of rust. What are we going to do? And it's like, it's crazy how the world wants to create distractions that deal with drama to get us pulled away and focused on what's more important. You know what I mean? It's like, so again, like we talked about in the other chapters, when will the forces come to steal the joy? Immediately. So just don't let it happen. So Craig, back to you. And yeah, let's
Yeah, I agree, Robert. This chapter, it's a great summary of everything that this book has talked about. I mean, a couple of questions that I had for everybody was, how many of you have sometimes started the book by reading the last chapter? Okay. Think about that with the way that Wallace Wattles put this whole thing together. Or you like to get the summary of the book first, and then you read the book, right? Well, here we are. That, to me, in my opinion, is what Wattles foresaw with this chapter, as well as reiterating what he shared throughout this entire book in a nutshell, which I'm actually surprised he was able to even do with all of the incredible information that he was sharing in this book.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what this last chapter does, and, correct me if I'm wrong, it sets you up to read it again from the beginning.
Yep.
And again, and again, and again. In other words, he's created, there's a thing called a virtual loop here, if you want to get technical, where, okay, wait a minute, what did I miss in that chapter that he's talking about over here?
Yeah.
I got to go back and I got to reread it. I know I have read it more than 10 times. And every time I go through this, and I'm going to actually add another one because we've done this. In other words, this Mastering of the Science of Getting Rich. And I've learned new things.
Yeah.
And what's even better is I've learned new things because of each and every one of you who've participated in this mastermind have brought up new things to think about that this book has provoked everybody's mind to share. And yeah, it is a book that is to be well used, well read, well documented, well learned by everybody. And I will go back to what I said in one of the earlier masterminds. This is a book that needs to be taught in school.
Oh my God. Yes.
Because it sets everybody up with a better intent on how to become better, to prepare themselves for the lives ahead. And if we can mold our children in this book, in the early stages, how incredible would that be to see them down the road applying all of this? So
Perfectly said, Craig. Yeah, I just tell people, one of the reasons that I wanted to do the Mastery of the Science of Getting Rich is because I think it's so unique that people want to find the treasure map. They want to find the treasure. But if you give them a perfect map on how to find that treasure, they just decide that they don't want to do that. It's mind-boggling to me that like Dana and some people have said, it's very nice to know that, that my mentor gave me this book. I devoured it. I continue to devour it. And every year there's something in my life, or a majority of the areas of my life, that were better than the year before. It's just this consistent progression of just keep getting more impact and more impact and more impact. So if you sowed seeds and you were consistent in sowing seeds by giving away this book, and then all of a sudden you realize that you got a harvest, what would be the thoughts of whether or not you were going to continue to plant seeds? So, I've gotten such a great harvest over the years and planted seeds in a lot of different arenas. And they grow in this company, in this company, in this company, in this industry, in this industry. Everything that I've tried to do, I can find the people that have already gotten successful at it, make sure that they're documented, make sure that they taught other people that have documentation, and then all I got to do is apply it. That's exactly what this book. You don't have to constantly be asking yourself, what is it I'm supposed to do? What you're supposed to do is see how many people you can impact with this knowledge. There it is. So Craig, go ahead.
Perfect way, Robert, to get everybody started there. Thank you so much. And for everybody who is in Zoom who wants to share, I know we've posted it before, but I'm going to mention it again, since today is our final chapter, the ultimate chapter of the book that we're going to go masterminding with. Please put your cursor in the middle of the screen. At the bottom is a button that says reactions. Click on that and then click on raise hand, and we will acknowledge you if you have something to share about your experiences with the book. And we appreciate it. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're so glad to have you with us. Please like and share this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel, because we got some more great things that are being planned in the future. And click on that little bell icon too, because when we go live on YouTube, you will get the information and you can watch. So thank you so very much for being a part of this. We appreciate you. And we've got several people with their hands raised that I see right now. Pat Dreyer, Lisa Marie Cook, Bill Shoemaker. Those are the hands that are raised. We know that more are going to be coming. So thank you so much. Let's get started. Bill Shoemaker, please unmute yourself and share.
Wow, you said Bill instead of Pat?
Yeah, well, Pat was first.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You know what? Okay. My bad, because I looked at what I see are the images on the screen and not at the list. Today, I swapped that out. So,
Hey,
Bill, forgive me.
Bill, see what you were able to consistently do over a large period of time that Craig just goes,
Yeah.
hey, it's time to ask questions. Bill Shoemaker. It's like, hey, it's just like.
All right. Pat Dreyer, I am so sorry for that. Please forgive me. Unmute yourself and go ahead, start to share.
Always forgiven. And honestly, I felt like I need to apologize to Bill and John for butting in on him. I thought that's what, when I saw my hand go up first, I was going, yeah, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Then you went to Bill, I was going, I was right.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
Bill, John, thank you. Craig, we're all here. Thank you, Robert, for doing this.
Thank you, Pat.
When I looked at this summary, I looked at it two different ways. And just like Craig, when people read a book, sometimes they go to the back of the book, they turn it over and they look at the summary. And as I was looking at this and I was reading through it, I was thinking, well, as long as you've been studying this book and you understand gratitude and faith and belief and all the principles that are in there and you've adopted them, you could literally go to the summary and read it and you've read the book again and it refreshes you. So if you had to do it quickly, you really could go to that. And as you know it, it refreshes you. But it also tells me that there's a reason why Bob says 4:14 and 7. And that's because if somebody new came in and read this book at the summary, they'd have thought, what a bunch of woo-woo. Who thinks like this?
Correct, Pat.
Oh, right? Because I mean, a thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, so 4:14 and 7, you got to love it. Bob hit it on a home run on that one. And then, Robert, I've got your old videos on this. And the reason I do is I got a lot of your old videos because you changed the places where you hide them every so often. So if I ever want to see them again, I sometimes can't find them.
Yeah, they used to all be on a Wistia server, and yeah. And so if you got some of the old videos, that's cool.
Yeah, I do. But compared to this one, let me tell you, you knocked it out of the park, my friend. And I just want to thank you for sharing your gift with us.
Thank you, Pat. Well, I truly believe that. I truly believe, Pat, that you and the other people that were on here, it really brought a whole new level to it. And I just thank you so much for being support and constant prayer and love. You're a great friend and incredible brother. So I appreciate you.
Well, thank you once again.
You bet. Thank you, Pat.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Pat. Appreciate it. All right, now I have the right order this time. So Lisa Marie Cook, you are next. Go ahead.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is crazy. I have had so many pops today.
Give us
Anyway,
one. Give us
this has been amazing. Thank you so much. And Craig, I had a huge pop when you were talking too. It was just like boom. I don't know. I had boom, boom, boom today and got my ass fired up.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Lisa Marie. And again, like I said to Pat, it's thank you so much for your bravery and your willingness to just be so raw and talking about some of the difficulties you were having, because you definitely made this series super special for me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You freaking do that all the times. I can't help it. That's me.
Don't help it. Don't help it.
Right.
Like,
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
why is it that people, we do things and right away we apologize for being emotional? It's like,
yeah.
Where's that programming coming from? Right.
Right. I don't want to take that class either. So. Right. Thank you, John.
Me and my wife laugh all the time because I can watch a commercial or listen to a certain song at a certain time, and man, I that's practice as well, Lisa Marie.
Yeah.
That's practice as well, is that you feel something, you feel something, and what we want to do is stop that feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Why
and well, it because of what people think.
I don't care anymore. I'm trying so hard not to care anymore.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to keep your heart in that good spot and unattach yourself.
Yeah. What if it was easy?
Difficult.
What if it was easy?
Then I wouldn't care, I suppose.
See, so you're going to say from this point on, it's just going to get easier and easier for me.
no, that part is challenging. I am
Yeah.
working on it. It's very challenging. And I'm telling you, the more that I do get, it's like, God, what a stupid shit you've been. You know, just, oh my gosh. We have, I don't know.
We're
It's
just
just our
human.
paradigms are so stuck. It's very, very difficult to switch that. I mean, if I have
So,
gotten
so
so much.
do me a favor though. I want you
Okay.
to think in a different way. I want you to
I
say,
want to.
yeah, just say, I am getting better every day in every way.
Absolutely. I am.
Yeah. And here's another thing that you
Mhm.
can say when you say, just catch yourself saying those words. To be brutally honest with you, this is sort of difficult. Well, it was difficult and it's getting easier every day.
It
So
is. Yeah.
find,
Yeah.
be conscious enough to ask for, surrender and allow
Hmm.
the things to be to catch your awareness. And it's like, because when some people are around again, like we talked about, you're around certain people and you say something that you shouldn't say, like a swear word. Why do you immediately apologize? Well, the same reason that you apologize when you get a little emotional when you're on the Zoom.
Hmm.
There's a lot of strangers here that you don't know.
Right. And I feel like I have been very vulnerable, but
Yeah.
I'm just growing. Growing hurts sometimes, you know,
What if it
and
didn't? See, if you listen to yourself and you're constantly are so used to, I got 61 years where the wrong words still come out about certain things,
right.
right? And I'll
Yeah.
give you a neat example is when someone's sharing the future with you, that's when me and my son have conversations about the future. Um, I find myself sometimes being a right fighter. And I feel like I can be a right fighter when we're talking about the future because at 61, I have 30 more years of wisdom and things that have happened to me that Matt hasn't had happen. So it's weird how fast you can say, because I'm pretty optimistic about everything. I'm so excited about the
Yeah.
things that are going to happen in the future
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
where we're going to be 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's like I'm so excited. So when someone starts to share something with you about the future and you don't understand it,
Hmm.
you can say, well, I think that's negative. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I don't think that's going to ever happen. You know what I mean? And instead of going, well, if that happens, I'm going to be okay. This
I'm
too will
thinking
pass.
more like that.
Yeah, this too
Yeah.
will pass. This too will
It's
pass. And
it's a
so,
work in progress, and we
yeah,
are becoming. I know who I want to become.
a wonderful
So
becoming.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I'm
But
proud of you. I'm proud.
I I am too. But you could if you could offer any advice, the more I'm aware, it's like, that pissed off in me
Yeah,
comes out, and that right fighter
right.
BS comes out, and I got I gotta surrender. Do you ever notice how I answer my own questions?
Yes. Yes, and I've shared with you, Lisa, when all of a sudden something happens, I think I talked about this, I know I did, in this series where when I was younger and my kids would sit on the couch and we'd watch TV together and they would start popping their knuckles.
Yeah, yeah.
And my immediate response is stop that. That's annoying me. And you need to stop doing that.
Yeah.
It's like no, you're annoyed. It's not annoying.
Right.
You're annoyed. You're triggered. It's like, what if it didn't bother you? See,
Oh, that would be
so
awesome.
yeah,
That would be so
but this is
awesome.
what we say. We say, this bothers me. I can't stand it when people do this. See? And then you just set that out there.
I did. How
And
do
so
you
you
stop
go-
yourself?
You just you as soon as you hear yourself say it, you go,
Oh.
no, that's not working on me anymore.
Yeah, I gotta
That
stop.
that used to work on me. That doesn't work on me anymore. And what you guys will find
Right.
out is it will go from years to months to weeks to days to 1 day to a half a day to 2 hours to an hour to a millisecond.
I had 62 years of paradigm to shift.
Yeah, and what's
And I
gonna
am.
be and that's one of the things that we got to really ask ourselves. You guys really have to do this. When you have a thought, say out loud with your mouth, is that true for all people? Is that true for all people? Nope, it's not true. It's not true for all people. It's like people go, oh my God, I get so upset when people crack their knuckles. Is that true for all people? No. So there's actually people out there that do not care. It's worse. How could it be worse than not caring? They don't even know it's happening. They don't even know it's happening. You're all pissed off and angry at something that people go, what are you talking about? There's none of us on this video, live or recorded, that went, stop doing that. What? Snapping a pen? You know, stop doing that. Doing what? What am I doing?
Don't even realize. Yeah. And it's
And
their issue.
so they replace it. Okay. You're being a jerk about the snapping of the pencil. So I'll stop doing that.
You know, Robert, I
They
think
start-
I have.
They start tapping. Stop that. So whatever. So apparently everything I do is bothering you. Like me chewing my food, me getting crumbs on my shirt, you not shutting the door the right way, you not putting things where they're supposed to be. It's like when the thing that you'll notice about people that get really triggered and really agitated, it's like I say this all the time, the universe, it has a sense of humor. And I think they get bored. I think a bunch of angels and prophets or whatever are sitting up there, and they're like, you're having a boring day. Yeah. Let's get Lisa Marie. She just goes freaking bonkers. Let's get someone to send her a message and tell her what she's doing is stupid.
No need. I get them.
Let's get Lisa. Let's get Lisa to Marie to believe that her husband's not loving her and supporting her. Let's throw her off the deep end.
Yeah.
And it's like, just like little kids, it's like, why do you pick on Lisa Marie all the time? Because it's funny.
It is.
She blows a gasket, man. She goes off the deep end. It's like, as soon as we don't allow people to pull our strings anymore,
Right.
you know, don't be a puppet anymore. Don't let religion do it. Don't let the internet do it. Don't let the government do it. Don't let your spouse do it. Don't let your upline do it. Don't let sidelines do it. Just stop letting people pull your strings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just
I kind of do
aware.
feel like a puppet. You bet.
Yeah, just be aware that is okay. I'm going to be more aware of who's pulling my strings, and then why does it bother me?
Right.
Why does it bother me? Could I get to a place where I don't even acknowledge it anymore?
Do you have a transformation moment where, because I know you were a badass, kind of,
Yeah.
not terrible. I've definitely seen worse, but
Yeah.
But you had that chip on your shoulder, that attitude, and I can so see my boy in you. But anyway, here nor there. But that point where, because it is, I mean, if you had a lot of negative things happen to you.
Yeah.
I have been through some bad shit. And so I can relate, not to the extreme of you, but I can absolutely relate. And how do you get that shift to where you can start thinking that positive continually? I mean, that's
Well, the first step for everyone is it's funny. It's like being an addict, right? You go like, hey, my name is Robert Hollis, and
no,
I'm an overreactor.
I cannot believe you just said that. It was just like,
I'm Robert
that
Hollis,
was it.
and I'm an
That
overreactor. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay. First the acknowledgement, and then that's when you start looking. Well, is it possible for someone to switch your paradigm in a millisecond? Oh yeah, it is.
is
It absolutely is. And you guys hear my number one analogy. I probably haven't shared it on this one, but I'm a geek from the dork forest. And so this whole concept of, you never want to get close to a girl because she's got cooties. I mean, I bought into that as much as Santa. You know what I mean? There's really no reason for me to be around a girl and catch cooties. That's just not going to happen. And then all of a sudden that your mind starts going a little bit, and then you're going like, oh my God, I don't understand what this whole physical attraction and kissing and hugging is. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Right. And then all of a sudden something happens to you where all of a sudden, you are in the right place at the right time, and you do have that kiss that changes your life. See, that's an instantaneous paradigm shift.
right. That's true.
Instantaneous.
That's true.
You're like, oh my God, this is what all this the craziness is about.
You're right,
Well,
Robert. That
how
was
can
just
you go
like
from
boom,
how
boom
can you go
again.
from I don't want to do that to I think I'm going to be bad at it to it's going to be embarrassing to it's like, can we just do this all the time?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I just want to make out all the time.
Mhm.
It's like, how did that paradigm shift in that millisecond? So now the way that you train your mind is is everything like that? See, a lot of
Right.
religions talk about this thing called salvation. And I don't know if you go through a probation period or there's still people that do what they're told to do to be considered saved and a new person. And then what they do immediately after that? I wonder if I did that wrong. No, you just basically ask God to come into your heart, Jesus to come into your heart and believe. Okay. Yeah. I believe the story, and I believe, and I accept that. I accept that right now. And then 2 days from now you go, what if I did it wrong? What if I didn't really believe when I said that prayer? Do I know how to pray? Am I saying the praying? I don't even know if I'm praying correctly. You know what I mean? And then, I don't want to tell everybody, because then they're going to ask me questions. I don't know anything about the Bible.
Are you
So,
sitting there reading my mind or what?
yeah. And so if you realize that you do that in everything, and your mind just goes on these tangents, right? It's like, I don't know if my husband loves me anymore.
Mhm.
Well, why? And you start reeling it up. You know what I mean? You just start coming up with all these things. So it's like, as soon as we do anything, it's like we're constantly wondering. We get a job, and then we're constantly wondering if everyone likes us or whether they don't like us. Is the boss going to fire us? You know what I
Where
mean?
does that come from?
That
Because I don't
honestly,
feel
you're asking me a great question here. Here's where it comes from. your lack of doing the other.
You're right. Yeah.
That's if all you did all day, every day, as soon as
It's
you
not
got
some
up,
hidden childhood thing.
yeah,
Oh
you
my
just
God, she was probably beat or she's from a
yeah.
different life.
So
Or,
as soon as you get up in the
um,
morning, you're like, oh man, thank you for another day, another good night's sleep. You're just immediately go into gratitude. If you go into gratitude, you're not thinking negative garbage.
right. And when I do that, I do feel amazing and I do have amazing days.
Yeah,
My bad days are getting fewer and fewer thanks to you guys.
I'm proud of you, Lisa. Yeah. And it's like the hardest word that you can say, the hardest thought that you can have is when you 100% can say, I take 1000% responsibility for every emotion
Right.
I'm having.
Absolutely. I let
When
myself get out of hand.
yeah, when Terry and I talk about that, it was like even when we were saying, why do you do that? That makes me feel like this.
No shit, right?
And then all of a sudden,
Oh
what
my God.
happened is that me and Terry started saying, listen, I know it's not going to feel good in the moment, but just like you would the universe, you now tell the people that love you the most, I surrender. You could interrupt me at any time. Just reach out, pull the rubber
Mm.
band on my wrist and snap it, slap me across the face, grab a squirt gun, shoot me between the eyeballs. I give you permission to,
Tap the Bible.
yeah, I give you permission to break my thoughts, break my
Hmm.
thoughts. So then that was the worst thing I ever taught Terry. Because I'd
Right.
go, why do you do that? And she goes, I can't make you feel anything. No, that's not the proper time to use this. She says, I can't make you feel anything. And I'm going like, listen. She's like, no, I can't. And she smiles. She laughs at me because I gave her permission to interrupt me in mid thought or mid feeling and just go, you're doing that to yourself. You're
Did
doing
you and Fred have a private conversation without me knowing?
no. But it's funny. It's sad. It's sad when you see people get their strings pulled.
Right. Yeah, I
It
see
really
that.
is. It's sad to see. Does Terry have strings? She does.
Yeah.
She's the best driver in the world, and no one's better than her. And so there's only two kinds of drivers. One are the ones that are in front of her that need to get the hell out of the way. And then the ones that pass them, and they're idiots. They're driving recklessly. So there's only one good driver, and you can ask her, and she'll tell you it's her.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
but my sons and it's like for you guys to know people like this. If you're ever around me, I don't drive anywhere where my wife's in the car
Why is that?
because I just make the decision that I like pushing her buttons when we drive.
Okay. I think that's a man thing. I
Yeah.
seriously do.
Yeah. And so when I'm driving, I'm doing everything wrong. So it's just easier for me not to drive. And then my boys pick that up. See, so
Okay.
I stopped doing it. And now my boys are going like, hey, it's like, listen, shut up. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right. No,
laughing.
you and I are the same exact because I refuse to drive with that man anymore. I refuse to stop this car. Let me out now.
But what
Seriously.
if you could get to a place? This is the imagination we're talking about, Lisa.
Mhm.
Imagine the things that pull your buttons or pushes your buttons or pulls your strings more than anything.
I can think of it.
Okay. Think of the one that seems to get you most out of control and dominate that one first. Go. I next time we go someplace, I'm going to ask Fred to drive and I'm not going to say anything. In fact, I'm going to constantly say, I really appreciate you driving. I'm really grateful that you're driving. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the thing that drives me bananas the worst.
Right.
And
That would be about it. Yeah.
I'm going to conquer that one, because then the rest of them will go, well, that's nothing. You know,
Mhm.
this is the thing that got me most upset. And I conquered that.
Pick one off at a time. You're right.
Yeah. Well, I
You're
love you,
right.
Lisa.
I love you too. I just want to say something real quick about this book being in the school system. And I used to be a special education teacher too. I think Mary and I should team up and go to the school boards. And you know what? I would have influence in my hometown, and I bet she would too. So,
Yeah.
and that could be a start, right?
It could be, except you're just gonna have a lot of resistance there.
You think so?
Yeah. It's the same school system for 200 years. They'll fight you every step of the way.
Wow. Do you think that's due to religion or simply politics? Because I had a discussion with my father-in-law,
Yeah,
and he is so against this book.
Yeah.
And that just really confused me.
When people make a decision on whatever power, it's like, I always ask, why would someone run to be on the school board? Why would someone want to be a president, a principal? So when people get there, it's like there's very few people on the planet that are doing it for service. Okay. They're doing it for accolades, pride, ego.
Mhm.
I'm on the school board. So you'll find that people that work with a narcissism or power and ego, it's not a good idea unless it's theirs.
Gotcha.
That's-
And being a teacher, I should have known that. I mean, seriously, that's exactly what. Yeah, you're right.
you try to interject something, and so it's biblical. That
But see, that's the connect. I
all-
wasn't understanding that at all.
Yeah.
Because my father-in-law was really upset with me
Yeah.
talking about it. And I didn't understand.
Come to steal the joy immediately. So
He's very religious. I respect his opinion on a lot of things, so that I didn't get that.
well, my first thought would be, why did you feel like you had to share it with him?
Because I think we need to share this with everybody.
But it scripturally says that we're supposed to speak to those that have ears to hear.
So keep my mouth shut then.
No, I still sort. I like, hey, Lisa, have you heard of the Science of Getting Rich that was written in 1910?
Mm.
That sounds stupid. Yeah, that's a sort for me. So if I tell people about the book and they go, I'd love to read that, I want to know more about that.
I find one in about 50.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
No, it's exciting because I get to change one person's life.
I love that perspective for sure. Yeah.
All right, Lisa, I love you.
Thank you so much, Robert. This has been amazing. Thank you,
proud of you.
everyone.
Proud of you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Appreciate that. Bill Shoemaker, you are up next, but there's a comment that I want to make from somebody who shared in the YouTube. And then I see also we got John Tier and Jerome, and I'm assuming Dr. Dana will be joining us later as well.
Yay.
So those people coming up. Faith Castew had said this in the YouTube chat. I've had so many awakenings from this book. This is a permanent study and going to share with so many people. Thank you so much for this mastermind.
Yes. Welcome. Blessed to be a blessing.
Faith, thank you so very much. Okay, now I can say it because it's his turn. It's his time. Bill Shoemaker, please open up and share with us.
Thank you, Craig. You are incredible, my brother. And you just proved that repetition is the mother of all learning.
Yes.
Right? program, boom. So anyway, thank you for that. And the last comment too, that was my words exactly. It's like, I just want to say thank you, Robert. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Matthew, for this. And everybody on here, Lisa Marie, she is so amazing that you know exactly what's going through her head. Just listen to her.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And you taught us how to listen to people.
Yes.
So beautiful. Your thing about what you say to your kids and stuff. When I was a kid, I had cousins and we sat around the dinner table and my uncle said, you cannot laugh at the dinner table.
Oh my God. I'd be kicked out. I'd be kicked out right away.
They're all gone now. And it's funny, my cousins would get a glass full of milk in their mouth and then they would just spray it all over the place in laughter. But the unfortunate thing was he'd take them out back and beat them with a belt.
Yeah.
And they're all gone now. Why is it? Because of that thing, right? So
yeah.
Anyway, thank you. And
Welcome, Bill.
my big takeaway, Robert, is being so analytic, I had to know how it was going to be done. And that was my big aha moment when you said that I don't have to know how.
No.
It's like an Abraham Hicks thing, is this: be in a good mood, do what you can, know that things are working out. The universe has your back.
Amen, Bill.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your love and support in this. There's no way that this series would been as good as it is without your feedback. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you so much, Bill. Bill, actually, you kind of reminded me when you were talking about Abraham Hicks being in the vortex.
There you go.
So we are in a vortex and we are sharpening that point every single day.
I'm telling you what, when I started listening to all the people that I could find, it's bizarre. This book challenged me on a lot of thought patterns that I had, that I was stuck in. And I think that you guys would be sort of blown away that I'm still mentally challenging myself. I'm still really, it's fun when you're constantly mentally challenging yourself and your mind goes, come on. You know, it's like, so when I first started listening to some Abraham Hicks stuff, and she was like, listen, becoming fulfilled and rich has nothing to do with working hard. It has nothing to do with skill. It's like, no, you don't know how hard I worked and how much I've worked on my skills. Why is that? How many of you have met people and you find out that they're wealthy and you're going, how? I just seen an interview with Elon Musk with Bill Maher. I like hearing all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm going like, wow, this guy is just so socially awkward. You know, the way he thinks, the way he talks. And then you'll hear stuff. You'll hear these one little liners and you're sitting there going, I don't know if I shared this already, but Bill Maher said to Elon Musk what we're doing to the planet and how we're destroying the planet. And he's going, no, that's not true. He said, there's so many resources on this planet that we haven't even discovered yet. And he goes, well, what about water? And he goes, listen, we already figured out how to be able to take seawater and turn it into fresh, clean water. There's just not enough money in it right now. And I've heard that about Israel. Israel, like the whole entire city of Jerusalem, it runs with desalinization. It's like a majority of Israel has it because they have to. They're in a desert. There's an ocean there. And so we hear about stuff and then we could just keep saying it. Like, that's one of my favorite all-time sayings that my mentor said to me is, how do you know that? You just spit out some stupid facts about something that's not true. Well, it's difficult. No, it's not. It's hard. It is not. It takes time. It does not. And so when you run into people that are, I think I shared with you guys a little bit is, through Vision Lacanni, I've been going through the Silva method, right? And at the end of these deals, they're teaching you how to go online, look at a person's name and what city they're in, and then you're supposed to trust your instincts with what's wrong with them. So there's all these people that have problems. Do you guys know people that have problems? All right. And so you go into this database and you put Robert from Laurel, Montana, and then I write down what my problems are. And so you're supposed to trust your intuition by seeing John Tier, where he lives. Okay. Intuition. What's going on in John's life right now? I'm going like, what? And it's like, no, if you trust it, if you just trust that you can listen to someone and be open enough for the infinite wisdom to share the words that they have ears to hear. So some of you see me in some really wild breakthroughs that are coming back. And and people freak out a little bit because they think you're a psychic. They think that you're a weirdo. So you just go, so what's up with your mom, Mary? How did you know my mom's name was Mary? So what's the deal? Why are you so pissed off at her? Well, she did this, and this. You know what I mean? All of a sudden they're like, is that really what it is? And you can just keep driving in depth. They're looking at things that she didn't send me a birthday card. And all of a sudden you're driving a little deeper, and a little deeper, and a little deeper, and a little deeper. And we all find out that, wow, I wanted her to say she was sorry. I felt like she never told me that she was proud of me. I always felt judged. And then all of a sudden they spin it on you. They go, do you really think that your mom knew how to raise a kid? Where did she get the owner's manual? Who taught her how to do that? Where's this stuff taught on how to raise a child? No, this is just stuff like, hey, good luck with that. You know what I mean? It's like, then we find out later that a child hears 25,000 times no and stop it to every yes. And you're doing a great job. So then we get older and it's just like all authority people or everyone that was around us, they were just doing the best they could. They didn't know their strings were being pulled, but they ruined my life. No, they didn't even know what the hell they were doing. And so you had all these unrealistic expectations for them that they can't get to. And then later on in life, you're still pissed off at them. Like, wow. So your whole life is ruined because of this? Well, yeah. Yeah, I used to be that way. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But then I got some new wisdom and new knowledge, new understanding. And I was able to change every area of my life and continue to do so. So that's when you know that you're working on yourself, is where you're still running into ideas out of this book that still are challenging you. You know what I mean? You're going like, well, how much time do you spend a day in gratitude? How much do you spend a day and daydreaming and being an imagination about the vision that you're going to create? How emotionally do you get when you're thinking about your vision? Oh, I forgot to do that again today. I'm sure you did. it's like, can you imagine being jacked out of your mind all day, every day? That all day, every day, all you see is how many views and how many impacts you're doing and how many, it's like now you're in a different place. And you're in the wrong place too. And you go, okay, God darn it, I got to figure out how to do this. I got to figure out what course I need to buy, what book I need to read. Uh-oh, you're taking the steering wheel away again. Oh, okay. Okay. Focus back on the vision again. So, John.
John Tier, let's go ahead. Open up and please share.
Wow, man. How's everybody doing, man? I just tell you, the last 16, 17 days has been life altering for sure.
Yeah, for me too. Thank you, John.
You guys were talking about driving. My daughter, I think when I got in the car with her, she said to me, "Dad, don't complain about my driving because you taught me."
Oh. There's the part of you, John, that said, "I didn't teach you to do that."
I just said, okay, So she squashed that right away.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, man, I heard a saying one time about how it shifted my attitude about letting people pull your strings. And the guy said, they can't get your goat if they don't know where it's tied up. And so that has been kind of my thing to remember, you can't push my buttons because they're not there.
Bingo.
They're not there.
You can't pull my strings. I cut them all.
Right. So I was thinking about awareness because yesterday, I had fun with the kids. They were just so enthusiastic, and they were just they were all over the place, just like children are. And so, but I guess one of the teachers thought that they were being too rowdy, and so she came in and she kind of put a squash on that. And I thought to myself, wow, this is where self-esteem starts taking a turn.
Oh.
And I said, wow, this is where, and I know that she was trying to do, what she thought she was, the best thing she could do as a teacher.
Where she learned,
Exactly.
learned, where they learned. Yeah.
Right. And I understood. I was like, wow. But what she really doesn't know is that she's sending a subtle message that, oh, I can't be this way.
Right.
And it's like, man, and I'm hoping that I'm able to pour into these kids, something that's greater than that, and that they can come out of that and not have to worry about that. So that's my thing.
I'll give you a perfect example since you brought that up, and maybe you can have a conversation with the teacher. Why is it that our kids and our pets are the most unruly things on the planet when we're on the phone or talking to somebody else? So company comes over, and now we just are verbally attacking our kids and our pets because someone new's in the house.
I kind of felt that too, because she made a reference to the school. We don't do that at this school.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I see where this is coming from.
Yeah, like don't speak unless you're spoken to.
Right.
And it's like we all know why pets and kids and sometimes even spouses get ruly and rowdy when you're talking on the phone or doing a Zoom or having company over. Is because they really got to see someone get your full attention.
Right.
They're like, wow, look how considerate they are. Look how kind they are. They're not raising their voice. It's like, They don't know consciously what it is, but they're going like, dad. It's like, hey, not now. You know what I mean? Can't you see I'm on the phone? Can't you see I'm on a Zoom? And they're like, all right. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy, man. So
yeah. And then the other thing is that I had an interesting conversation with one of my best friends yesterday and my sister, and they kind of dovetail together there. And I was telling him about the science of getting rich, and he finally said he didn't want the book, and it was really amazing to me because he kept trying to say, "Well, I'm a numbers guy, and I gotta have, how does that happen? How long does it take?" And so when he said that to me, I heard Robert's voice say, "Well, how do you know that that's true?"
Yeah.
And I said that, and he was like, well, you got to have some kind of numbers to like prove, in some kind of methodology. And then we just eventually, right, exactly. And eventually he just changed the subject, and I just flowed with him, because I said, wow, you have a certain kind of mentality, and not saying that it's bad or good, but there's a certain kind of mentality that you've been taught that says this is the way things are.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter, and I didn't say this, but I was thinking about mine, until you walk in a millionaire's shoes, you really don't know.
Right.
You really don't know. Everything is guesswork for you.
Yeah.
And so
if you already possess the wisdom to make yourself financially free, or let's take it to the next level, where you have an abundance of income to help tens of thousands of people. All right. So if you possess that wisdom and knowledge and know how to think and do in a certain way, then I guess you're just lazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or you have a false sense of what you think is the right way to do it.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people think that they're doing it the right way and not understanding that.
I love it. Isn't that, I think it's Mark Twain that says, the phrase, what you don't know will hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
It should be say what you know has already hurt you.
Yeah.
What you know is blocked you and hurt you in so many ways. It's ridiculous.
Right. And all these things, you have to unlearn a lot of stuff, because when you read The Science of Getting Rich, I think there's only really two reactions. Either you're going to take it in or you're going to throw it across the room.
Right.
Right. Because it's not what the book should suggest it would be. Because most people are going to grab that book thinking about, oh, okay, I'm going to read this and I'm going to be rich. And when it starts talking about things that are somewhat esoteric, if you will, somewhat against what we consider to be the norm, is that you're thinking yourself, you're imagining yourself becoming. And yet we live in a world that teaches you, oh, no. You have to believe before you see.
Yeah.
And really it's the opposite. And what I'm always amazed by are my Christian friends, when the Bible plainly says you have to believe before you see. Why is this so different? Why is it so? Just because you're applying it to money, it's the same principle. It's the same principle. And so it's kind of like, guys, what is it that you don't get? It's just amazing to me. You have to believe before you see. It's not a new concept.
Nope.
Not at all. It's been from the very, very beginning. It's always been there.
And we always look at it with simple things. I always tell people the reason that most of us went to school or our higher educations of school is because we surrounded ourselves with everyone that expected us to do that.
So true.
So when you surround yourself, it's like, John, you're going to 12th grade, right? It's like, what are you, stupid? Of course I'm going to 12th grade. Of course I'm graduating. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden we get out of higher education for those that chose to do that. And now it's like, go get a job. Anybody can get a job. Go get a job. And it's like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a job. Then it's like, well, you should get married. And you should have kids. I should do that. See, parents are on you a little bit about having grandkids. And so now what? Now what? Well, depending on who you hang around, I expect you to show up on Sunday for church.
Mhm.
See what I mean?
Right.
And it's like when you realize that people are not expecting other people to grow and become the best, that phrase that I love is like, if you believe that you're a miracle and that you're a gift from the Creator, then the rest of your life should be spent on being grateful to that Creator.
Yes.
You should be grateful with the things that you have and who you are to continue to be able to impact more people. You know, that your gift back to the universe, your gift back to God is to be the best that you can be.
You know, Robert, this book, the chapter on gratitude actually really changed how I even pray, because my prayers are not really about asking, it's about thanking with expectation.
Amen.
That's what it's gone to. I thank
Well,
for
if you read the scriptures, doesn't it say that he already knows everything you're going to ask for?
Absolutely.
Okay, so he
And
sees your daydreaming, he sees your vision, he sees you, being in a room with a sick child. He sees that. He knows your desires of your heart.
right.
All right. So all day, every day should be, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for making that happen.
Exactly. Yeah, because the scripture talks about believing as if it's already done. I
Yes.
think that's where a lot of and I'm just going to make this broad statement, but a lot of Christians miss that particular point.
They do.
Because what they do, and this is my opinion, but what they do is they give themselves a way out and they say, well, it's got to be according to his will. Wait a minute. That's not in that scripture.
No.
That's not what that says. As a matter of fact, the scripture says he works everything after according to his will. Everything. So it's really upon you to believe that it's possible that it's going to happen, that he'll do it.
And of course we hear money's evil, and then we hear, the meek will inherit the earth. You get to hear all these things where, there's no reason for you to focus on riches. Just show up on Sunday and give me some of your riches.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And we need these riches to pay this mortgage, or we need these riches to do all of that. But don't you go get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't focus on trying to be the number one tither.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, John, you've been a blessing to this whole series, and thank you so much, man.
Thank you. All right.
I feel like you and I are closer, even though we were close before the series started. So I really
absolutely.
Appreciate
it. Yeah. Robert, one day we're gonna have a conversation, and you're gonna see some parallels between our lives. I was in a foster home. My birthday's, I'll be 61 this month.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we have a lot of parallelisms, and I say, wow, that's my brother from another mother.
Amen. Amen. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right,
John.
guys.
I love you, man. Love you.
John,
too,
thank
brother.
you. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you. Okay, I got another couple hands up. James Mullaney, you're coming up. Jerome Marshall, time to unmute and please share.
How you doing, Jerome?
Hey, Robert. Hey, Craig. Hey, Matthew. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
How you doing, man?
I'm blessed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Thank you.
Oh, good. Last time I was trying to speak, my phone was acting up. So, but
you got a clear path today, man.
All right. Hey, I want to thank you. You have infused my mind. I have a new sense of life.
Yeah.
And I have a rhythm because of the 6-phase meditation, and this is a daily family reunion.
Amen. Yes, it is.
And I just I see myself. I always was talking about how we could touch people and how we can help people achieve their goals. And also, I also say a lot because you got me on doing that. When when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I say
Yep.
that. I said it last night, and I felt weird leaving early yesterday because we on Tuesday nights we have our men's Bible study, and but I also shared the chapters, this what we're doing, the chapters 4, 14, 7, last night with them. We were all talking about it for about 10 minutes, and I had a couple of guys say that they're gonna go ahead and look at the book. So that made me happy. So that was good. So but what I do nowadays, and I be in my little cocoon, especially in the mornings while I wake up, I go ahead and pray. I always thank God. I always thank God. That's the first thing I do is just thank Him for another day, and thank you for watching over us as we slept and we slumbered and rested our bodies, and thank you for protecting our home, and thank you for giving us peace.
Amen.
And after that, after the prayer, I go right into the six phase meditation, and then I go into the book.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to prove to yourself that you can change your state of mind, that
Yeah.
that you can be on, and like we talked about yesterday, it's renewing your mind is the most incredible thing you'll do for yourself, because they'll change every relationship you have.
Exactly. Renewing the mind and renewing the spirit.
Yeah.
And after I do that, I feel just like a feather, it'll just light as a feather. And I always speak things into existence. I say, God is going to do this. God is going to do this for me. God is going to do this for my family. God is going to help, my friends. And I always think about, how can I help? How can I, instead of, can you help me? And sometimes, especially with dealing with, multiple sclerosis, sometimes you need help with stuff. But
Sure.
I always think about, I don't like to ask for help, but sometimes I have to, and I
Right.
have to have that mentality, which I'm better with. I'm better at doing that. But another thing I do too, before we intervene with each other, I always exercise, and I always, always think about, not think about, always do the cardio and the weight training together, and then I pray and say, thank you, Lord, for getting me through this workout.
That's awesome, Jerome.
Yeah. So this is, it's changed my life, and I'm also doing, you didn't tell me to, but I'm doing it on my own, but I'm also doing some law of attraction stuff too. So
Sure.
that book.
When some of you, as you focus and push yourself into this, you'll know a huge paradigm will change for you. A new perspective will change for you, is when you go, I'm just not running at the level that I normally run at. And your first thought is, wow, I didn't do this, this, and this. So,
Right.
So when people first learn to do these things, they're like, oh my God, why do I have to do that stuff? And I promise you guys, if you guys were around me, it's like the way some of you brush your teeth before you go to bed, or go to the bathroom before you go to bed, or do whatever you go to bed.
That's what I do.
For me to lay down, give my wife a kiss, ask her how her night was,
Right.
tell her I love her, and then roll over and grab my neck pillow and then put on my meditation. It's like, you start striving for it. So I don't know if I shared this with you guys, that I always listen to Bob Proctor at night, and the Vision Lakhani one. And all of a sudden, Terry's now clicked in big time because we're doing this. And she said, is there any meditations that we can listen to at night? And so you guys can reach out to me if you want to grab this. I'll put it on Google Drive. But I found an 8-hour meditation that has to do with peace and joy and abundance. And I have never slept so good in my life. It's like, and for those of you that get up and I, I'm 61, so I get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And it's like sometimes you go back to sleep and try to get to sleep and your mind's racing. It's like now I get up and I come back and lay in the bed and I can just feel my mind go whoop, just locks right back into the meditation, knowing where it's going. Because a lot of people don't realize that your mind loves patterns.
Yep.
Your mind just attracts the patterns. So if you're laying in bed and it's quiet and you might hear the fan going and then you start thinking, I got to do this in the morning and then I got to get this and this done and I should be doing this. That's where your mind starts jumping and you don't get a good night's sleep.
Right.
But if you had meditation, a lot of people, I just tell people, if you have difficult sleeping, when you come back to bed, it's okay if you fall asleep meditating. So you just listen to Bob Proctor and it's like, okay, so listen to him again. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of the night, put the headphones back on or the earplugs back in. And I got this little speaker that I have that's zip tied to my headboard. and it's Bluetooth. And it's just like, hey, it's playing all night. I plug in my iPhone so battery doesn't go dead. And so now I'm listening. When I first started this series, I probably was doing, I don't know, maybe 2 hours of meditation a day. And to think that I upped that to 10.
Yeah.
10 hours of meditation a day, that's starting to tip the scales a little bit for me, pretty big time. So
yeah, one last thing too is because I missed Professor Dana's talk. And I felt weird. I was like, oh man, I gotta get back. I gotta get back and right before I went to bed, I put my headphones on and went to the recording, and because everything else I was there for, and then I made sure to listen to Dr. Dana at the end, and then I fell asleep like 10 minutes afterwards. So it's like my day was complete. So
that is awesome.
I'm looking forward to the next series. I don't know what it is, but I'm looking forward to it. It's just a rhythm that I have. So I have old riggers mentality because I keep digging and digging and digging.
Yes.
And then some.
The mind loves to learn. The mind loves to learn. You don't have to tell the tree or the grass to grow or the flower to grow. We instinctively want to learn more. We want to be more. We want to do more and impact more. And the only thing that stops us from doing that is getting stuck into cycles and habits of distractions and excuses and victimize. And, there's still a group of people that are always going to say that, I don't know what's the use of doing so much on personal development or wanting to help other people. Because you do know Jesus is coming, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so I got told this when I was young enough. I can remember it when I was like 8 or 9. You know what I mean? So let's just say 10. So 51 years, I'm still waiting for him to come. You know what I mean? So
don't know when the hour, don't know what the day, but he's coming.
But it really would be cool to do some stuff here until that happens.
That's right. Get prepared.
I told a guy one time, and some of you will probably not like this statement, but I told a guy one time, I said, do you believe that you get your dreams and your desires and sometimes your imagination that God will put within your life, that what you can handle, that what you can go after, right? And he goes, oh yeah, I totally believe that. And I said, I'm not going to see the second coming. And he said, what do you mean by that? And I just went, I'm either already going to be there.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? I'm so that I don't know if that means I'm gonna die really soon or I'm gonna live to 120. I just know I'm not gonna be here. And he goes, really? And I said, I can't tell you why I know that.
Right. Right.
I just know that I'll expire before I see the second coming. So
True.
now it means that if it's going to be really soon, then I got to really focus and get some impact done. I got to really make a difference before I go.
It ain't too late. It's not too late.
No. See that, so people are like, well, the earth's going to end anyway. Why should I do something? And I'm going like, wow, really?
What? Yeah, I got to do the Heisman on that one.
Well, thank you, Jerome. I love and
love-
appreciate you, man. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. I love y'all. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Jerome, thanks so much for sharing. Okay, James Mullaney, and then I'm going to assume that Dr. Dana's got something for us to wrap up. He put a thumbs up, so yes. Let's go ahead and go over to James. Please unmute yourself and share with us.
Hey, can you hear me?
Sure can. How are you, James?
I'm doing all right. You can call me Jim. I don't know why it comes up as James, but anyway.
Well, you have the ability. You have the ability to change.
You like, indeed. Praise the Lord. And I have been. I mean, this whole series has just been absolutely amazing.
Thank
Everybody
you.
who shared, Bill, John, Pat, Lisa Marie. Oh my goodness. Yeah, wow. Just been breaking down all these limiting thoughts that I've been living with for years and years and years. Like you, Robert, I used to be an auto mechanic, got injured on the job. It wasn't my knee, it was my back. And I've had a couple of back surgeries, knee surgeries, shoulder surgeries.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy getting old.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I was basically forced to get on disability. What
a blessing.
Well, it is and it's not. It's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing.
It's just one way.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, I'm grateful for it. I really am. But that's another limiting thing that I'm going to be getting over. I can't wait for the day where I can.
You can be disabled by being a mechanic, but you still have a lot of abilities to share.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I discovered that mostly when I was convalescing after my second back surgery, because I was like on the table for 9 hours and I was in the hospital for 9 days afterwards. And then I was off my feet for months afterwards. And one of the things that helped me a lot to get my mind off the pain, because I was in a lot of pain, and well, basically I'm in a lot of pain every day anyway, but that's either here or there. But one of the things that kept my mind off the pain was putting a guitar in my lap.
Yeah.
And discovering, practicing new chords and new strumming patterns and everything else. And that was just my biggest therapy. And I had taken up guitar back when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and I played off and on throughout the years. And after I had a lot of really crappy stories over the years, but I to the point where I was homeless for a while, and I remember walking into a pawn shop one time and I seen this guitar hanging on the wall. And at that moment, I made a promise to myself that if I ever pick up the guitar again, I'm going to devote the talents to praising the Lord with it. Right.
Awesome, man.
And I've kept that promise ever since. I was able to purchase that guitar several years later. And then I took up the bass again because I play guitar and bass. And make a long story short, I went through a couple of crappy marriages, and I swore if I ever got married again, it would be to a good Christian woman. And and Lord provided, and moved down to Kentucky, and I met her up when I was living in Michigan, and she lived down here in Kentucky, and I knew that I wanted to move down south eventually, and situation came up to where I could do so. And so I planned on going down to Tennessee or Florida. And her and I were talking, we were friends. I didn't know at the time, but she liked me a whole lot more than I liked her. And she says, and it just turns out that me and a friend of mine were able to come down and visit many years ago, almost 20 years ago now. And long story short, her and I got closer and closer and closer. And I didn't know it at the time, but when I moved down here, I attended church with her, and I had no idea that she was a pianist.
Oh, wow.
I remember going to the church with her the first time, sat down in the pew with her, and before the church service started, she gets up and she walks up to the stage, sits down at the piano, and starts playing masterfully.
That's very cool.
She gets done with everything. She comes back and sits down. I said, so when you were going to tell me you play piano? How long have you been playing? She goes, oh, I started when I was 5.
Yeah. That's cool.
And so she recruited me into the praise and worship team. And her and I have been playing together ever since. We've had kind of started our own music ministry and stuff like that. And I don't read music. I don't. And so one of the limiting things that I overcame was my ability to pick up playing all these hymnals. I've got books and books and books of hundreds of of praise and worship music that I can play. And now I'm sought after for playing bass, because I play bass guitar, but mostly bass.
Do you ever play and post it on social media?
I haven't yet, but that thought has occurred to me more than once. And so, I mean, nice. I can noodle around with the best of them.
When you're playing the music and you're impacting other people with your music, and they can see your love and passion behind you doing it. And that's going to be another segment where you're not in pain during that time again.
That's right.
It's bizarre that,
but actually the church we're members with now, they do broadcast their services on YouTube. So, I mean, in that sort of sense, but my wife has sat down and done some YouTube videos with her playing piano, and she gets rave reviews, and she's always being asked to do more and more and more. And I can accompany her. So, I mean, we can get that going again.
You gotta have your own YouTube channel, Jim, and just start doing what you love to do, and watch the audience come.
Well, yeah. And another
hey, I agree with you.
Wow. Okay.
Say it. I want to hear it.
All right. Well, right now, no. I don't want to take too long, because I know I don't want to keep Mr. Dana waiting. But just this whole series, I want to get back to this.
How many people want to see Jim on YouTube? Look at everybody.
Oh man, I'm so humbled. Humbled and another
just
thing.
Just turn the camera on and start playing.
Yeah.
Don't think, just give.
Yes, sir. What a good idea.
Thank you for sharing, man. Thank you, Jim, for sharing. I love you.
I love you too. And I just want to say this. I've been loving this series. I've been plugging into it, and I couldn't miss it. And actually, I got to go do we have practice tonight at our church for Sunday's worship, and so I still got plenty of time. So I'm staying on here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the next series, and just all the limiting thoughts I've been having with with the crappy background that I grew up in. Grew up in the Irish Catholic stereotypical family, and
we don't
just
we
all
don't
that
move
mess.
forward. We don't move forward. I don't know if you guys have seen that picture. It's sort of like a story where, the guy's walking close to like an edge and he falls off the ledge. So he thinks he's gonna die. And so he reaches his hands out and he grabs a limb, and it was dark. And so he's grabbing this limb and he's just saying, God, I don't want to die. And God is saying, let go.
Yeah.
And,
I know that
and
story.
he's going, I just don't want to die. And he's like, let go. And finally, he couldn't hang on anymore. So he let go, and he was like 6 inches from the ground.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to let go. And it's like, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, no problem.
I got you. Just step away from all that stuff in your past and just look forward to the future.
Yeah. Let the dead bury the dead, as it says.
Yep. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jim.
Oh, my pleasure.
Jim, thanks so much for sharing. Appreciate you. Okay, so we have a gentleman who is got a field behind him, and I'm assuming he's outstanding because he's outstanding in his field. Dr. Dana, open up and please share.
That was good.
Well, I didn't see that coming. I haven't been sitting in my
missed it
field.
too. Perfect.
Oh, that's great. Well, Robert, thank you for putting this series together. It's been a wonderful time and an enlightening one, to be sure. And one thing that I noticed as we kind of came in on the last few chapters of this book is we actually fulfilled the mission and the definition of a mastermind. And that's something that, oddly enough, I found that many people don't understand what that really is. But Napoleon Hill is the one who popularized the mastermind. And if you read Think and Grow Rich, of course, he advocates it in there. But one of the things that comes out of that is the understanding that a mastermind is a collection of people who have a similar desire, wish, objective, different perhaps in the specifics, but they all think in the same basic way, so that there is a resonance or a amplification of the results of getting this mastermind together. So it's thoughts melding to create more, to increase life more so than you would have gotten had you just mastermind with yourself.
Right.
So it's interesting, as many people have spoken here, to go through and listen to their interpretations and their epiphanies. And it's funny how they are very, very close.
Yes.
So the mastermind has achieved the objective. And I imagine for those who haven't spoken, that's true, that they too have arrived at very similar understandings and comprehension because of a mastermind. So I want to share that part.
Perfect.
Because we did that.
We did.
Yeah, we did. And thank you.
I not only sensed it, I learned from it, and I felt it.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about this book, and I found it many years ago, didn't appreciate it until many years after, and I'll appreciate it more into the future. But one of the things about this book that confuses people, especially in our modern paradigm, is when you say the science of getting rich, people flip it open, and what do they want to see? A formula. They want to see a mix. Okay, just add water. Well, and so they start reading it, and it talks about the formless stuff and the supreme, and it loses some people, if not many, because they're looking for something, but they don't know what it is. They think a formula. I don't know what kind of a formula. But one of the things that this book is very clear about, and in this summary, I'm gonna go through a kind of a breakdown of this summary real quick, because it contains not only the basic philosophies, but it contains some admonishments. For example, let's take that first paragraph. Actually, it's the first it's the first 3 paragraphs. I'm not going to read them, but I'm going to attach a word to it. Believe.
Yep.
Those first 3 paragraphs admonish you to believe. If you can't believe, then you can't conceive, you can't start. A shred of belief, a tiny mustard seed of belief, can grow into a forest of fruit. So that first 3 paragraphs, believe. So we got to start there. Then we go to the next paragraph. It's a short paragraph, but there's a word that goes with that. Transformation. Okay. You have to pass from the competitive to what? The creative plane. That in and of itself is a transformation in the way we think, in the way we act, in the way we look around and experience the world that we're in. That's kind of deep for, what is it? In my book, it's 4 lines. I didn't count the number of words, but that paragraph is about transformation. So if you believe, then you have set yourself up for the transformation. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Then the next paragraph, paragraph 5, oh, this is an interesting word. Well, actually, I put 3 down here, but I'll start with 1, surrender. Because if you read that, what is the core message there? It's gratitude. That's what that AI screwed up and missed, right?
Right.
But it's surrendering the ego to a new way of thinking, a new way of accepting that gratitude is what the universe, what the supreme, whatever you want to call it, it's what fuels it. It's the reward. I give, you take. Gratitude, you return. Your gratitude is the return on the investment that the universe made in giving you the ideas and the opportunities. It's what you get for looking out and seeing all these aspen leaves that are popping out on the tree. So that one, paragraph 5, surrender. Then we go on to paragraph 6. That's a long paragraph, but here's what it means. You got to know what you want. None of this stuff is going to work unless you sit down and start with an idea. What do you want? What is your purpose? What is your vision? Don't let those words scare you. What do you want? Well, people say, well, gee, I don't know. I want a shiny car. Well, I kind of like $1 million in the bank. And I really like white cheddar popcorn. I think I might want some of that. You know, it's perhaps a little abstract, but let's start with a simple idea. You know, there's what I call the 6 elements of human wellness: physical wellness, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, intellectual wellness, financial wellness, and relationship wellness. Those 6 things. I didn't invent those. Those
Right.
are floating around out there, but each one of those contains one or more of your wants. I want to be physically healthy. I want to be emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy. These are the things that you can start with to say, what is it I want that will give me the one thing? And what is the one thing? Well, we talk about joy, right? Happiness, joy, freedom. Freedom is the big word. Freedom of what? Well, go back to those 6 elements of human wellness and start asking yourself, what do you want in your life that would set you free? Start there. Figure out what you want with a simple idea of, let's start with freedom and joy, those 2 things. And then look at those 6 elements of human wellness and start figuring out what you want. Because if you don't have an inkling of what you want, then your belief and your transformation and your surrender are idle. They're helping you. They're trying to help you, but you have to do the work. And that's huge. Now, here's the next one, chapter 7. This is another short paragraph, but the means is not magic. In other words, the means for achieving that which you want in your life, it's not magic. It says it right here. The creative energy works through the established channels of growth, and what he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. In other words, the magic is all around you. You just have to open your eyes and open your ears and know that it's going to come from somewhere around you. Or it may come from a distance, But it's not like you got to sit around and wait for the magic. The magic is you. The magic is all around you. It's the means by which it comes to you. It's already there. All this other stuff, the belief, the transformation, the surrender, and knowing what you want opens the door for that stuff to start coming to you. But it's not going to fall out of the sky. It's going to come from somebody like Robert. That's okay. And then finally, the last paragraph 8. Well, there's a 9. Paragraph 8. This is the tough one. This is what stops most people. Do the work. That whole long paragraph starts with, in order to receive his own when it shall come to him, man must be active. You gotta do the work. That don't need to say any more on that one. That's a no-brainer. Then finally, the last one. What's really the powerful part of that is the end of the first sentence. And the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision. In other words, knowing what you want, becoming clear about it, taking it and moving it radially outward, adding layers of detail and emotion. But the gratitude, the emotion, the appreciation of knowing what you want, why you want it, leave the how to the universe, but the why, what it does for the people that you are increasing life for. That right there, the very last thing, is what I call big: belief, imagination, and gratitude. All of those things are lumped into that last paragraph. You have to believe, you have to use your imagination to make it real, and you got to layer it and coat it dripping in gratitude. That's what that last chapter says to me. And it kind of summarizes it very simple. And if you, like we've said, in fact, I think Pat said it, you can go over that thing, and having read and studied the book, that last chapter has far more meaning than it would have had you started there.
Right.
So that to me is one of the most important elements of what we've accomplished here, is we've simplified the last chapter down to a simple idea, some simple concepts and things that people can grasp. And selling this book, selling the message of the book, is really selling your, how would I put it? I would say it's selling your enthusiasm.
Right.
Your enthusiasm, your energy, your belief. That's how this book will become someone else's book. The title is Deceiving in the Modern Paradigm.
Right.
If you go back, just last closing things here. I think, who was it? It was, I think Jerome spoke about law of attraction. This book is law of attraction.
Yes.
It's really interesting if you look at the history. Way back in the 1900s, early 1900s, William Walker Atkinson moved to the Chicago area. He wrote the book. What was it? It was the law of it. I'll just tell you, I shared it before. Oh, yes, it was Thought and Vibration, or the Law of Attraction in the Thought World. He wrote that book after being exposed to the New Thought movement that was really strong in Chicago in the early 1900s. Guess where Waddles was hanging around at that time?
Wow.
In Illinois. And he took this book, he took his ideas, and he looked at what was going on in the economy, in the world, and the culture at that moment. The agri economy was shifting to the industrial economy. People were moving to the cities to find work, and they were turning to the churches to help them. And they were in poverty. They were struggling. They were trying to find a place to live. And he looked around and saw this. And then he saw the hypocrisy that was going on, keeping people poor. Of course, that's what he alluded to. Right. And so he started writing from his mind and his interpretation of the power of new thought. And he overlaid it with his Christian beliefs and his experiences. And he came out with a book that he wanted everybody to read. That's why he has the supreme, all the different terms, because he wants people of all beliefs to accept the truth of these principles. And he summarizes it in the very last chapter. Nowhere in that last chapter does it say you got to get down on a bended knee and praise anyone in particular. It says you have to believe, transform, and get to work. So in sharing his book with people, you know, they have to read it, they have to accept it, they have to understand it. And you can point to people like Robert and say, look, here's some people that use this book. You know, you can go look the guy up. And there's other people out there, I'm sure, too. We happen to know Robert uses it. But this book was the core behind Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
The people who he interviewed, who Napoleon Hill interviewed, you can bet most of them, if not all of them, got a hold of this book because of the title, Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. And
it ran in those circles.
It did. And at that time, you know, the concepts of this book were hugely powerful. Well, today, you know, we live in a world that's smothered in information, like I said the other day, and people are, you know, they're looking for the instant solution, the one-click wonder. Well,
Yeah.
Where's the click? Where's the website for this thing? Where do I click to get rich? Right here, right here. That's where you click. You have control over where you go in life. No one else can do that to you. You get to control it. And this book provides you the means to do it. So that was my my wrap up. Once again, I appreciate Robert and of course Craig for those introductions. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. Can you imagine getting like Craig Jackman? It's almost like you got to be on television, like the American Idol or something like that, with him introducing you.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Dana, Dana, I know that I say this and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I will. But thank you so much for not only taking your time and your wisdom to you know, give us your perception of where this is coming from. There's always these people out there that, you know, that think, well, you know, belief in daydreaming is for people that are uneducated. You know what I mean? And so it's always fun to have someone that's educated that goes, no, wait a minute. You know what I mean? These principles are strong. They're here. And it's like, you know, I just appreciate always our conversations. And also you put a lot of time in for us to be the speaker at the end. And I just really, really appreciate you, Dana, so much.
My pleasure. And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Yeah. One of the other things I want to touch on just briefly with, you know, moving forward, Dana did so well of saying, you know, if you don't know what you want, you know, it's the phrase I love taking on is I can show every one of you how to get what you want in life. You just got to know what you want. And I want to share with you guys a shortcut, a super, 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 super shortcut. Are you guys ready? Is when it talks in this book about being creative versus being competitive. All right. And this is my opinion. The reason that a majority of the people struggle in life is because they don't realize they're competitive. All right. Here's where they mess up. If my whole thought to this day was, if someone's making 62 grand a month and I asked them the simple questions, what are the only things I need to do? What are the only things that I got to get good at? I understand that if I do it a lot, I'm going to get better faster. I'm going to get gooder and gooder. And there's this weird thing that I've seen, Dana, and the rest of you, that I don't know why it messes me up so much. It's like I learned to drive from someone that knew how to drive. I knew how to be a mechanic from other people that were building race cars. I cleaned their parts. And everything that I've learned from somebody else that already had documentation in doing so. And I just am blown away that someone will find something like the Science of Getting Rich, and the first thing that they'll want to do is put their spin on it to compete against the wisdom and knowledge of this word. It's like, that's immediately being competitive. So I don't want to promote or edify Dana. I don't want to give praise and recognition to Craig. I don't want to, I don't want to use other people's videos. I don't want to use other people's trainings. It's like, I am going to change this. I'm going to create my own courses. I'm going to create my own info. I'm going to create all this. That's not creation. That's competitive. Do you guys catch this? And I tell people, if I was called in to do anything, I always say this statement. And people have asked me this question, is they said, Robert, what if we took you and you get nothing? You get no money, no contacts, no cell phone, no nothing. And I'm just going to drop you where there's people. And you could even take me away from people. You could drop me anywhere in the world and I will find people. Immediately, I will find people. I'm smart enough to know I need to climb to the top of the highest peak I can find, see where the water is, go to the water, and just start walking in one direction, and I'll find a city. I'll find people. People like water. They need water. And then watch my next steps. My next steps would be to ask people, even if I didn't understand their language, is where is the assembly of people that are being taken care of? You know, the homeless, the food kitchen, places like Goodwill. I would immediately go to a place where I could serve people. And as soon as I find that place to serve people, then there's going to be people that donate to that service. See, now I don't have to train someone to be a giver. I go to where the giving's happening and I would find the givers. All right. Then after I found the givers, I would very simply go the extra mile. I would go into the action of service and I would get noticed. I would freaking get noticed. I wouldn't ask for a huge personal favor until I proved my actions. Are you guys catching me? So whether I would be delivering food or serving people, but I would get noticed within hours of my joy, my focus, and wanting to give to others. It won't take long for people to go, who the hell is this person? That's how you grab. That's the law of attraction for me. Is servicing other people so other people see you servicing. And when that person comes up and says, hey, who are you? Well, you know, I had a bunch of people on a mastering of the science of getting rich, and they challenged me, and they just decided to raise a bunch of money on GoFundMe, and they dropped me off in the middle of nowhere to see if I could really pull this off. How can I help you? Is there any way I can borrow an electronic device that gets on Wi-Fi? And all over, duplicate everything I've ever done all over again. I would work someone for free to get access to an electronic device that was on Wi-Fi. Some of you are going to go, well, you know, I'm a professional negative person. What if there wasn't Wi-Fi in that area? The person that was the giver would know where the Wi-Fi was. Communications is very important to getting food and shelter and water to the people that need it. So I would find someone that had a satellite phone. But it's not going to take me long to put myself in a position where I could find a way to find a company similar than I'm in now, and then see if I couldn't find people that I could change their thoughts, that what if there was a better way? What if all the stuff that I've been taught is not so? And then I could share with them, well, hey, listen, before I got dumped off here, I actually have a pretty good lifestyle and money in this other area. But are you guys seeing that it's when you know these principles to be so, that I would be looking for people that were already doing something in that area that was generating cash flow. And I would duplicate them. I would become an assistant. I would become an apprentice. And if you guys really want to know, as like Dana said, there's so much information now on the internet. So we're overbombed with knowledge and we're all lacking wisdom. So the more you go back in history, when you find out that those people didn't have the internet, that those people only had selected things. Why is it that in every country and every city in every country, there's someone that figured out how to get out of there? So if you went on Google and put in who's the most successful people that were born and raised in Ethiopia, you cannot find the worst areas on the planet, Darfur. And it's like there's people that found their way out of there. They didn't one day grab a canteen and just frickin' start walking. Regardless of where you're from, you can see the activity. But you also can see the majority of the people in learned helplessness. Did you hear that? So when things are not working for you, the majority of people that you hang around got these excuse-itises, this victimitis, and oh, woe is me, and I can't, and no one's here to help me, no one's here to support me. And it's like, if you're looking for a helping hand, look at the end of your wrist. See, people don't want to take personal responsibilities that their thoughts are things. And the continued thoughts and the continued actions get you your results. And some of you don't like your results. And you don't realize my results before I met someone that had wisdom. So my Yoda, whatever you want to call him, said, listen, there's some stuff that is not being taught in schools. Have you heard of this book? No, I have not. And it was like the New Testament for me. When someone gave that to me at 18, I devoured it. I chose to believe it. I read it and I believed it. I read it and I applied it. I read it and I applied it. I read it and I believed it. So when this book told me that I was a miracle, I am. When I read The Science of Getting Rich and it said, become creative, not competitive, and you can have all things, I'm going, game on. I need to find something of value. I need to find something of value that I can build a know, like, and trust with. Oh my God, my mentor gave me these books and I trust him and I listen to him. Maybe I should pick a different book. Where does that stupidness come in? That immediately people feel like they got to change. They got to change the system that has worked for everyone. Where does that come from? Well, I introduce people to this book. Why? Well, I be honest with you, I just wanted to do something different than what you're doing. That's never been my deal. My deal is to find out what works for others. And like I said at the beginning of this, can you guys find for me? Please find for me another movie like The Secret, where Rhonda Byrne took the time to find that many people that said this book had that big of an impact on them. What's the ripple effect from everyone that was on that movie? Could we just take two of them, Abraham Hicks Esther Hicks and Bob Proctor, what's the ripple from those people? Not the ripple from Andrew Carnegie to Napoleon Hill. What was the ripple from Napoleon Hill? Because some people read it, believed it, applied it, and say it's the best book ever. And then there's a bunch of group of people that say, you know, that's a bunch of horse manure. That stuff doesn't work. It's stupid. So don't become competitive and take the fundamentals in this book and change them. Please don't do that. If you wanted to do your own series, your own mastery of the science of getting rich, it's just going to make you understand it more. But why wouldn't you go back and watch these series over and over again, then take notes and then just copy that? Be the best copycat. Does that make sense? Because when you start changing stuff, you think you're being creative and no, you're being competitive. Isn't that crazy? So I'm going to turn that over to Craig. I know my son's got some things to say.
Absolutely. And before we go to Matthew, because I definitely want to give him a shout out, because boy, Matthew, thank you so much for putting everything together. But before I go there, I do want to say thank you to the people who contributed to today's Mastering of the Science of Getting Rich. Pat Dreyer, Lisa Marie Cook, Faith Castillo, Bill Shoemaker, John Tier, Jerome Marshall, Jim Mullaney, and Professor Dana Scranton. Thank you guys so very much for contributing to today, contributing to Mastering the Science of Getting Rich and this amazing mastermind. And now I'm going to give it over to the gentleman who is our foundation, who has set this up, who is the rock, the man who helps get everything together. Matthew Hollis, please, Matthew, open up and share with us, all of us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Dad. Thank you guys all for being here. You know, like last year, we did a Think and Grow Rich study, like a mastermind. And we didn't end up finishing it for some reason. I think we started and I had it going and it was working well, but just something wasn't working for me with it. And now being here with you guys, I realized what that is. And it was that it should have been this book instead. And I'm just so proud and glad of how this has gone and how well everybody has learned from this, myself included. And I just want to thank you guys. I don't have anything really to add. I feel like everything that needs to be said has been said, both by the book and by my dad and Dana and everybody that shared, Craig. So I just love and appreciate all you guys. I thank you so much for being on here. I cannot wait to see what we do next. You know, we're figuring that out. You know, I think at some point it would be a good idea to even do a season 2 of this. You know, because you can never go through it too many times. It might not be immediately, but I really think
it wouldn't be the same. It would be
definitely wouldn't be the same. You know, it's like season 1 of a good TV show, right? You're like, oh, the other seasons are great, but man, that first season really rocked. And I just appreciate you guys. Like I said, we have so much stuff coming. You know, this has changed not just us as people, but the way that we've seen our impact into the future. You know, it's interesting. When we started this process, my dad just said, I want to do a mastermind on the science of getting rich. And we just set it up and we were doing it like 2 days after he had made that decision. It just came to him and he was like, this is what we need to be doing. And he knocked out a couple of videos on it. We set up the mastermind, and what this has turned into over the last couple of weeks has just been amazing. You know, the amount of outpouring of people, not just giving positive feedback to me on opening up and sharing, but also sharing themselves in messages and in comments. All the people that didn't speak out on here, you know, the ripple effect, like my dad said, the secret had, I believe this can have as well. So just as if you guys can do anything for us, it's subscribe to our channel, to Robert Hollis, because we have more stuff coming. And at the same time, like really try to share this. We have all the audios of the book on there, but man, that mixed in with this, I feel like you guys do not know how many people have reached out to us that are not on here live because they couldn't be or couldn't watch it live, that these videos have impacted. You guys sharing your stories and input. So every single one of you guys have mattered, and not just the growth of us here, but the people outside. So we are having a ripple effect. So I just want to thank you guys for that. And I want to thank my dad. Dad, thank you so much for bringing us all here, for constantly giving to all of us. It means so much to me. The amount of things that this man's given me, of course, other than life itself, is just extreme. Like the amount of wisdom and knowledge that I've learned from him. And I'm always going to be grateful for that. I wouldn't be the man I am today without him. And Craig, thank you so much for always hosting and being here and being consistent and bringing the energy and just allowing us to flow. You know, I feel like in so many ways, Craig not only gives up his own abilities to host and to share, but also to bring that out in all of us. The flow of these shows and the flow of how this has worked would not be the way that it is without Craig. So thank you so much, Craig. Thank you for sharing. Everybody that's shared this with other people or posted it on social media and said, you need to be on here or you need to watch this. Thank you guys so much. So that's all I have to say. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to see where all this goes. This has definitely changed the trajectory of where we see us going. So can't wait to share that with you guys soon. So.
Well, thank you, Matt. I agree with you. And I love all the stuff that you've added to this. We all pulled together as a great team. We really, really, really did. So I got on this link the same way all of you got on this link.
Right.
I would go to roberthollis.com/live, and Matt and Craig are behind the scenes doing all this stuff. And I just think that Craig I imagine Craig is a person that's a conductor of an orchestra. You know what I mean? He's not only an incredible MC, but he's constantly posting all the stuff in the group, and when he's feeling where it's going and he knows where it's going and he's already got the videos and the audios there and he's searching and doing all the stuff behind the scenes. I don't know in music and art if that's called a producer or a director or whatever, but you know, Craig does it all, man. He really does it
100%. Yeah.
So Craig, thank you so much. These things would not be who they are if it wasn't for both of you guys.
Bless you. And
thank you, Dad.
Thank you so very, very much. I guess
that's it, right?
That's it.
Thank you guys so much.
Until next season, but the season's going to be like next week. Well, and you know, let me say one.
We won't leave you guys for soon or for long.
You know, any one of you that really knows what I've done in the past or what you would like to see in the future, you know, you guys, your voices mean everything to us. They really, really do. And so if you guys can say, hey, this is what I think needs to be covered next, or I think this is a good idea, or we should go here or here. I can just tell you that there is a Melody put it, I think yesterday or the day before, is I just love the concept right now that people are looking for breakthroughs, man. I used to do breakthroughs all the time. They sometimes would last, it seemed like forever. But we wouldn't lose anybody because all the people that were getting breakthroughs of whatever little thing that they were dealing with or large thing that they're dealing with, you know, that just allows me to take all the wisdom that I've gotten from my mentors. I've stood on the shoulders of other people, and I'm really, really blessed that I can believe in it, apply it, get results with it. And I know it's holding people up. I know it's stopping people from getting where they want to go. And so that's what we're probably going to be focused on. And I don't know, bringing that up, if we started doing breakthroughs, I just want people on here to say, you know, what would be a better time or what would be the best time? Because if we get no input, then we're just going to go with what we're going to do. All right. But if all of a sudden everybody said, hey, is there any way we could have this on Thursday nights or Tuesday nights or whatever, Please, if you got anything that you think that we would need to cover or you would like to see us cover, because it's all about involving. It's all about just getting gooder and gooder. And so
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, no, just to throw on to that too, like one of the things when we decided to transition everything over to YouTube, we did that with a purpose, and that was to develop and build a community over here and inspire people. And we thought YouTube was the best platform that existed currently to do that, to reach the most people and the people that we would want to with this long form content of doing these for hours and stuff. So in the future, please just comment on the YouTube videos. We're going to see it there first. We're checking that first. We're trying to grow everything over here. So please, any of the stuff that my dad was talking about, please just post that in the comments on the YouTube video. This one, any of them, and we're seeing your comments. So that's all I had to add. To you, Craig.
Perfect.
All right. Wow. Thank you all very much once again. And before signing off, those of you watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And we get the word out that way. And if you're if you're not following Robert and you want to get a free copy of this book, go to roberthollis.com/free. Do it. Get it. You're going to be a part of the community. This book is amazing. And it's worth the read. It's worth the time. It's a rags to riches to story. Meaning, you can do it. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And let's do it. If you want to save the chat in Zoom, it's very simple. Click on the 3 dots in the chat, then click on Save Chat, and all of the information that we've put up in today's Zoom will download to your computer at the conclusion of this presentation. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, it's already there. So you just have to wait for the repeat to come up. All the information will be there. Watch the replay. And please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the inkling, watch the replay again. Learn the science of getting rich. Master the science of getting rich. And we will all be better for it. So, until the next time that we see each other, thank you so much. I'm going to unmute the channel for everybody here. Be good to yourself. Be cash.
Thank you, everybody.
Love
Bye,
you guys
guys.
so much.
Thank you, everybody. Love you all.
Thank you so much.
Have your
Craig,
pets
Matt,
burgers.
Jim,
Thank
Dad,
you.
Craig, everybody here.
Bill, Michael.
Bless you all. Thank you.
Michael. Thanks, John, Dana, Jamie.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Corky.
Great.
Jerome. Dwayne, nice to see you on here, man.
People put their pictures up.
Randy
we will
Carton.
probably do an AMA this weekend.
Oh
right?
yeah, we will do an AMA on. Look, you guys know how to follow us.
Yeah,
Thank you, Melody.
roberthollis.com/AMA.
Thank you, Dad.